What's up, buddies, and welcome into the Playmakers Blueprint. I'm your girl, Bria Goss, and this is the podcast where we get to focus on crafting champions and shaping leaders. And I am here with my favorite little brother, okay?
Your only.
Only brother, period, in our branch of the family. So let me get your bio right, okay? Harrison Goss, football state champion in 2014. Three-time indoor state champion in track from 2014 to 2016. Two-time state runner-up in track 2014/15. All-state in the 4x4 in 2016. A high school champion as a coach in football in 2023. Was top 15 nationally in high jump as a freshman in high school in 2012. Placed third in the Southern Interscholastic Athletic Conference in high jump as a freshman in college in 2018. Ran the 100, 200, 4x1, 4x4, high jump, and long jump in college 2018 to 2019. Graduated with his Bachelor of Science in Psychology in 2022. Planning to finish up school to achieve your doctorate in psychology with a concentration in addiction and developed psychology. 3-year high school freshman football coach and varsity track coach for high jump in 2022 to now. An intervention specialist at a behavioral alternative school in 2023 to present. And the middle child of 3 amazing and accomplished, beautiful, successful sisters.
Hold on, tell me. I don't think all of that was all in the book.
No, that wasn't it?
Especially that last one.
I thought it was good. It was good. Welcome in, Harry. How are you?
I'm alright. It's good to be here. It's good to be on the pod.
You know?
On the pod.
We're doing it. We're doing something light, episode 4. Welcome in here. So I'm so excited that you're here. This is the podcast where we literally get just to focus on what we learned on the court or the field or the track, and how we implement that into our everyday work life. So you have quite the resume. You've had some really good success. What do you think is your favorite?
Winning that one as a coach is kind of different. Being able to be a part of the kids that are 2 years ahead of you now, just as far as from when you left them, and seeing that joy in their faces, that kind of brings a different kind of perspective and joy to your heart.
Yeah, it does.
Whenever you become a coach.
Yeah, it does. I never knew. So Harrison, you weren't a bad kid. He wasn't very good either. So to see you working with kids and coaching kids,
yeah,
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't think so either. To be honest with you, my story is crazy whenever it comes to that. Because, after graduating college, I went back to Ben Davis just to kind of tell my story, to tell the other kids, and I just happened to run across my wide receivers coach from freshman year. He talked to me about joining football because he's about to leave, so our door kind of opened up. So I've been running with it since.
That's how it is, though. I feel like the networking, the connecting, the growth, all in one. It's one of those things where when you look back, it's like, I would have never thought I'd be right here.
Especially going back to the school.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah.
So, well, for those that don't know, Harris and I are the middle kids, so we were neglected. So Harrison, again, thank you for being here, but let's jump right into it. So I think the best part about the podcast is I get to pick who has what topic. And I could not pick a better person than Harrison for emotional control. You, again, were a good kid. You had a mouth, you had a little smart mouth here and there,
The only reason why I would get in trouble, let it be known.
Was why?
Oh, my mouth. For
sure.
Oh,
that's a fact.
For sure.
So, now that we're older and we have learned from our mistakes and things, just to start off with, what does emotional control mean or look like to you?
Emotional control is what I say is just another word for discipline. Discipline is repetitively doing the same thing over and over again, even though you don't want it to be. So working on that, and continuously like working on your emotions when people nitpick and try to get under your skin, and being able to have that hard skin for no one really to penetrate your mind, your body, and spirit. Then that's what I can call emotional control.
Yeah, you can look at me though. You know.
Hey, gotta talk to the people. Gotta talk to the people as well. They gotta feel where I'm coming from.
No,
So.
you can look at me. I'll be like, okay, okay. So can you tell me what the importance of staying calm? You know, let's say specifically on the field. Why is it so important to have your emotions in check on the field?
Well, being on the field, I mean, you have a lot of things going on. You have the play calls. You have to know. Well, I play defense, so you have to know where your receivers lining up, what routes they can run. It's a whole lot of focus that can go wrong if you're not focused when they're on the field. And so, keeping your emotions in check after, let's say that you have a good play, not letting that run your game or take over that moment. So being able to stay poised within the moment and enjoy the moment, I think that's very important.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've had opportunities to maybe be in better control of your emotions on the field?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about it.
It was my freshman year. During football, we were playing Arsenal Tech. I'll be clear cut, laid dude out, to the point to where people had to come up on the field and all that, and I'm over here hype. And what I don't realize is that the head coach is watching as well. So you don't know who's always watching and seeing that emotion. And I've even had a guy even try and vouch for me at that moment. He's like, "Oh, we need him up move with me and moved up." And it's like, no, because look at his emotion. That was kind of the first things that he kind of said.
Yeah.
So being able to learn from that experience, I've kind of been able to be humble in my own sense. Yeah. It's good to make plays and all that, but I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah. Do you feel like the kids today, maybe let's just say in the high school level, since you're at the high school, do you feel like overall they have their emotions in check? Do you feel like it could get better? Like, where is that spectrum?
Well, we got to look at who I'm dealing with, and it's a lot of high school kids, a lot of
which they barely know emotions as it is, trying to figure out and navigate. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So when you kind of look at those things as far as high schoolers who don't know who they are yet or what they want to do, or even still, there's a lot of high school people who are struggling as well. So trying to find yourself is kind of hard. And so being able to control all your emotions and knowing what everything feels like and how to deal with them all at the same time without having anyone to help you or in your corner or anything like that, it's tough.
Yeah. And I guess as we transition too, so tell us where you work now.
I work at a behavioral alternative school.
More kids.
Definitely more kids, K through 8, which is really crazy because like you would never think, or at least I never thought that alternative schools had kindergartners.
Right.
Never realized.
And how long have you been working there? Because I didn't know that till just now.
I worked there. This is my second year.
Yeah.
So we're in our second semester right now. So working there, it's definitely been eye-opening.
Yeah.
But then again, it also goes to knowing how your child is, what kind of triggers they have, and it also goes with trauma. A lot of these kids are traumatized from their childhood.
Right.
So being able to nitpick where that trigger came from and be able to reverse it with something positive as well is very hard, especially in the kids' mind, because they want to understand stuff that they have no control over.
Right.
So being that backbone and that rock and
that stability.
Yeah. Very, very stable. Because some of us, like I said, don't have the stability at home, which also kind of makes it harder. Or the parents don't make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're telling the kids that you need to do this, that, and the third, so that way you can work on this, so that way you can level up, so that way we can get you into your gen ed school,
Mm-hmm.
you have parents who think different.
So
this is that constant back and
yes.
forth that we'll have.
You already have the kids, you have the behavioral problems, and then you have to also fight the parents on that.
So being in that communication with parents and getting them to understand that is kind of hard for most. But once they see it from our point of view, and then they see the results, they're like, oh,
right,
that's what we need, and that's what we're looking for, and so that way we can all help the kid, because the kid is the main thing that we're trying to help.
That's the focal point, you know, and the best efforts of you and your colleagues, hopefully the parents that can get on board, so that you guys all can create an environment, or, you know, something stable for that child. Is okay. I like that. Here, I see you.
I'm trying.
Oh, okay. So let's transfer over to your professional, not only as a coach, but as a counselor, as the go-to, as the rock and the stability for these kids. Can you discuss how the skill of emotional control has transferred over into your career?
From football or from any type of sport?
Yeah, well, we talk about football a little bit. Let's talk about track.
Ooh.
What does that look like? Because I know it's so individual, right? You're individually running, you know, your race or jumping.
Well, yeah. I'm about to say, everyone says that track is an individual sport, but you still have this team alliance, this team building, this team bonding.
Yeah.
That way that everything doesn't feel like you're just doing it alone.
Okay.
So like whenever you're training or whenever you're at a meet or anything like that, yes, you're training for your individual health or your individual goals or anything like that. But yet you're going against people who have that same mindset and have that same goal. Yeah. And I guess that kind of transfers into having that same goal, but in the workplace. Every workplace has a goal. Yeah. So whenever you're having that goal and you try to set the steps in order for you to reach it, I guess that kind of makes it more special. Yeah. So when everyone has that one goal and wants to achieve this one goal and that camaraderie, it definitely brings that competitive side of you.
Love that.
So being that competitor is what kind of drives and what kind of makes athletes kind of better or just better in the workplace, because everyone knows how to work with someone.
Yeah. Love that. No, that's good. So from the track emotional control, has there been a situation where you kind of lost that control in a meet?
In a meet, I would say yes, only because and track is 90% mental. And it's crazy because you have to tell yourself that you're going to be this or you're going to set this goal and you're going to reach this goal, and you have to talk highly of yourself and you have to talk positive. So when these things are being done, but some of the work isn't following, then you'll start to see the negative results. So once you see those negative results, you start to get down on yourself. You start to put forth the effort so that way you can reach this goal again. Yeah. So it's from bringing yourself down from your lowest point, or up from your lowest point.
You feel like you've done that?
Yes.
In track? Wow.
I'll say that because I went through a lot of injuries in track, especially with my heel. Kind of going to things that were out of my league. Yeah, out of my league for real. It's just as far as hurdling. Something new.
You hurdled?
I did. And I messed up my heel. So being that 400 and high jumper in high school, I mean, that plant foot, and especially on my plant foot. So that kind of hindered like all over as far as the track. So I had to bring myself kind of out of that from the beginning of the season, kind of to, I want to say, about county, which is the meet before sectionals. So battling those injuries and trying to bring myself up Yeah.
Well, a snap there. Now transferring those skills of emotional control into the workplace. Okay, this is a good one. So, Harry, is there anything in the workplace that you have faced that looked very similar to a situation in track or football?
Oh, anytime that it is a full moon. Oh, it like I used to laugh when I first started teaching. Oh, it's a full moon tomorrow. Y'all better get ready. Well, what y'all talking about? I ain't never heard.
Oh, kids start acting crazy. Okay,
it's real. It's crazy what the universe does to people and the energies that flow for them.
Yeah.
So being that focused and trying to when things are going crazy. Oh man, like we only have like 70 kids in the school, but I'm about to say we don't really have all the 70 kids where they just don't attend or anything like that, or they're suspended.
Right.
Which we try to rarely do here at Sanders. We always try to look for an out that way they can try to understand like, hey, we're trying to give you these chances, like in order for you to understand. But when things are hectic, oh man, like you have to be attentive, and it can be. I'm about to say you can burn out as a teacher. It's very easy to burn out as a teacher, and I used to never give teachers their respect, but being in this position, I see where they're coming from. I apologize to any teacher that's watching out there, and I feel your pain.
Yeah.
So, but it's very joyful when things end up going the right way.
Right.
So seeing that other side of this kid who did this, that, and the third, or hit a kid, or even hit staff, because it can get brutal.
So in that brutality, has there ever been a time where you had to have difficult conversations with your colleagues at Sanders, or maybe one of the BD coaches, and what that looked like?
Not so much the coaches or the teacher or anything like that. I think the hardest conversations that I have are with the kids. And getting them to understand that the people that you feel like are in your corner are not really in your corner. You say that this is your man's, but your man's is snitching on you, and I'm telling you that he's snitching on you. So and
you gonna believe me?
He's giving you up, but at the same time, like I get that's your friend, but getting them to see that point is very hard. And they always call me old, but I'm only 26. So
if you old, then I don't know what I am. Yeah.
So doing that is difficult.
Yeah.
But at the same time, very rewarding.
All right. I think it's almost an impossible job. I feel like, so for me and what I've done in my basketball career, I'm one of those people who, if I'm mad, I can't play. And I wish I had it. I wish I could be that person where, oh, so-and-so got me hot, and I'm about to go out there and get one. Yeah. I can't. I just go ahead and sit me down.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I know.
It is a beautiful thing.
I know.
Especially playing football. Oh man, like it'd be pro pad days, and people know when I'm mad because I'm
see.
Sweaty. So like I'm going hard only up top, but if we're lower body, then and if I had a bad day at school or anything like that, that was because football was my outlet. So, and that was also kind of a hard thing for me to transition to, as far as just like, how do I control my anger, or how do I control these emotions that I always just went to football for, or just laid out on the track and all that, and killing my body every day in order to just get all this pain and all this feeling free and all that. So that's very hard as an athlete.
So you used football as the anger outlet
since 2nd grade.
So then how? Why were you so bad? Okay. So then how?
I was envious of y'all. Y'all was already thriving by the time I was in like 2nd, 3rd grade.
Yeah. So I'm 6 years older than Harry, and then D is 8. So it's like D and I, and then there's a big gap, and then you and KK. And so, do you remember what you saw, like from like, because you said that we were already there.
I would say, from BDJ.
When D was there?
Yeah. So
okay.
From Ben Davis Junior High.
We were still losing.
but it's not that y'all were still losing or anything. It was more so like this is just what my perspective was.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen it, but no one else like kind of saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, like it was. I seen the work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
Like I seen the work and all that. So seeing that work and then seeing it translate to your 8th grade and 6th grade years,
mm-hmm.
and then seeing it even go more of an uproar and when you guys were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Being in Lucas Oil was I had a blast.
Ah.
At the age of I think I was like 9.
Yeah, were you? You were Bean's age when we went to Lucas Oil.
Let's see, it was.
I was a sophomore, so I was 16. I'm 6 years. So you're
so
10.
So 10, yeah. So
I never knew. That's crazy.
And it's so crazy because when you hit the shot over, I forgot what her name was from South Bend, Washington. I was coming down the stairs. I don't know where I was coming from. Just at the end of the game, but I'm walking down the stairs. They're just having to look up me.
Yeah.
and then from there it was just kind of like okay. Let's say I guess we just want to stay. I didn't know that was your last game of the season. It was just in this big arena. I didn't know any better. I was just a kid that was running around.
Right. So you see kind of our success.
Mm-hmm.
What now we're getting way off script here, but like what you said envy.
Yes. The reason why I envy is because I didn't know my path or my story yet. So the reason why I did that is because I used to compare myself to y'all. And Dad kind of was in my ear about that, and I used to get frustrated, especially being in like 7th, 8th grade, not being kind of the not the star or the point of attention or anything like that, but having that significant role. I was very young, to the point to where I could have been held back, and now that I look back on it, I definitely should have.
I told Mom and Dad to listen.
But I guess I was just in my own head, like I thought I was stupid, but it had nothing to do with my grades or anything like that. I just didn't have the capacity to know about it or anything like that. So, that, and then kind of having my own path to where like I'm shining. It's always because of someone else and then being in kind of your guys' shadow. So having that stigma and having that target of being a Goss at Ben Davis or anything like that, it was very hard, only to keep the standard. Right. And I kind of feel like I made it kind of hard for Kira, kind of. So that was always kind of my drive. Yeah. And my motivation. Yeah. So, and I always kind of kept that in the back of my head.
So that was kind of the thing that when you would get to practice, you'd have those frustrations that you'd be able to take out.
Best believe you guys set the tone. But at the same time, like I have to be in my own head to finish my story. Yeah. And write my own. So, kind of honing in on everything every day. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Was there anything you feel like we could have done? And that, because when it comes to emotions and feelings and things, like, I mean, me, I'm not as happy-go-lucky as can be. I knew one or two emotions, right? And so, like,
she is joy from inside out. That is joy right there.
That is, and you're the red thing. Anyway, so everything's going over my head. I'm thinking everyone is about as happy as I am, and everything's good, and life is good. When I figure out life actually sucks, sometimes, like, was there anything that I could have done in that situation to kind of maybe help those frustrations or help your emotional control?
Really just stayed in my ear, honestly, and tell me where your input would have been as far as like where I am in my career. But I also didn't ask. That's why it's very important to ask, and because you can't eat if you don't if you don't ask.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
So not asking, I feel like kind of also hurt me in the long run, because I didn't know what to expect, what I was supposed to do. Was I supposed to go to this many camps? Was I supposed to do this in the summer? It was a lot.
It's awesome.
So And then again, I was doing 3 sports, so I didn't know I was juggling that. So, but no, asking, and then being in my ears and kind of being that little angel,
right, on the side of the shoulder,
on the side of the shoulder, and then I tried to do that for Kira as much as I could. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's turn it over to some practical tips, maybe something that kind of helped you as you're figuring out, even as a young boy, as a young man, of just like where your mindset is now. So, like, what are some of the things that you really honed in and focused on when it came to controlling your emotions? Was it meditation and breathing? Was it prayer and worship? Like, what was your thing?
Well, working out. Working out for a long time, especially in high school. That was also kind of another outlet.
Yeah.
Am I struggling with it now? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to find that motivation.
Wait,
and
listen.
That's kind of thing that athletes do struggle with.
Listen, the best thing about this podcast to me is the fact that I'm doing it messy. This isn't perfect. It's not glamorous, but like I get to watch it grow and I get to watch it like evolve and get better and turn into something, even more beautiful than what I already think it is. I know it's my space, but like that starting point of just kind of getting out and doing it, like God gonna meet you where you at every single time. You know what I mean? So like right now, you're not where you want to be, as far as the gym and the workout, but when you get sick and tired, being sick and tired, like, you'll make those adjustments and finding the motivation to do so. Like as a retired athlete, like I'm sure it's tough.
It is. It really is, because you're talking to a guy who in high school couldn't weigh over $180.
Yeah.
Like, and now I'm 225, 230 on a bad day, and I'm used to being like 200, 210, and then so like once I fell off, like it got very depressing, and so like I had to look myself in the mirror and find some type of motivation. So getting into the gym kind of saved me from that dad gut.
Oh my God!
And then being in your mental, because pushing things and telling yourself you can do things, and then being able to actually do it is very rewarding whenever it comes to weightlifting.
Yes.
So weightlifting, of course, you're getting in your Bible and being in your prayer and all that, and knowing God's word. And also I have a scripture, Proverbs. I don't know if you can see that, but Proverbs 3:5-6. So that I always keep that on my arm, and I always keep my faith with me. So that's kind of like my tattoo.
Yeah.
It signifies whenever I get down, I kind of just look at it, rub it, and just say God's got it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So finding that and just finding your own plan.
Right.
So having your own self-care plan is very critical whenever it comes to your emotions, because everything can be wrapped around and going spiraling and all that. But once you take the time to yourself to really bring yourself back to earth,
right,
is very healing.
Right.
So doing that meditation or having that drink, not excessively though, to the point to where you need help, of course. But
yeah. No, that's good. It's just like you said, like with your own path and your own journey, and how your journey is going to look very different from the next. I mean, we all four grew up in the same house. We're all four very different. So finding our own individual way, I don't know where I would be without God.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much on the positive, optimistic side more times than not. But like still being able to get in the Word and make sure I'm making time for God, and putting it out there, being vulnerable to Him, asking Him for the things that I want/need, and having those daily conversations, because those really hard days when it's hard to find the motivation, or like you're not talking, very positively to yourself, or, it just feels like the weight of the world is against you,
Yeah.
you still have to pick yourself up off the floor and go do what you're supposed to do, and then make that same decision when you get up in the morning to do it again.
Yeah.
And like that constant is, I would say, impossible without God, for me. Like, I don't know how I would have been able to do it.
Also, it's just kind of it's really just all about your choices.
Yeah, no, it is.
It really is, because whatever choice that you make, you have to live with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, whenever you are putting your choices over your dreams, now
Yes,
your choices just become your life.
Yeah.
So they just become those distractions. So you have to know the difference between, is this a distraction, or is this going to benefit me in the long run? And you have to mentally think about that and see how it affects you emotionally.
You better say it, Harry.
So.
Okay, so let's turn it over to the benefits of emotional control. Okay, so we know the times where, nobody's perfect, not even little me. But, so we know the times where we might not have handled a certain situation very well. Then, lo and behold, a similar situation, and that can either be in sports, it can be in the workplace, it can be in relationships, it can be in friendships, whatever the case may be. And so you see the situation kind of happening again. How do you take what you did wrong in those first few times and then translate it into now doing it better in that growth?
That's a really good question, because being the 13th in the nation in high jump as a freshman, I didn't want to do anything but work. And by anything but work, I mean anything but schoolwork. So my schoolwork had gotten in the way of going to nationals. So if you're top 15, and of course if you have the money and all that, then you get to go to nationals and all that. So being in that same position in college, I was on the verge of losing my academic scholarship. Wasn't able to participate in my fraternity. I am part of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
That should have been in your bio, huh?
My bad. I'm about to say, definitely should have. And I was being on the verge of not participating with my fraternity brothers.
Yeah.
So going through that same situation, it kind of made me, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of that same situation. I need to get on my high horse before I let this slip. So got in my bag, ended the semester off pretty well, to the point to where I could participate in the next semester, and then after that I stopped cutting it close and stopped procrastinating. So just getting my work out the way, and now it kind of translated into the workplace, because now I have to do paperwork, and it has to be done by a certain time.
And you don't want to procrastinate and wait and rush and all that.
And have people chasing after me and telling me I need to do this, or it's really just being a step ahead and getting rid of a problem that you can save tomorrow or today from coming tomorrow. Yeah. So being that prepared and being able to.
Yeah. And you brought up really good points. With these experiences that you have now mastered, I will say, has these experiences of becoming a more effective communicator or leader, has that helped when it came to that emotional control department?
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
By far, because like when you're a coach or when you're in a position, I want to say a position that calls leading. I mean, what you have to think about is leading is taking someone somewhere where they've never been before.
Ooh.
So doing that at the age of when I started 23 and finding my own rhythm and trying to get people to buy in and all that. Like, man, he's 23. He don't know what he's talking about. He's old, or he's too young to know what he's talking about. But at the end of the day, I still have at least about 14, 15 years of knowledge whenever it comes to the sport and all that. So getting kids to buy in, it's hard. But at the same time, like once you build that connection and all that, then it can be a beautiful thing, kind of how we did in 2023 with
right.
So, so yeah, having that buy-in is very crucial, and just relationship with the kid.
No, that's gonna be hard. I think that's a main reason why I feel like I didn't get into coaching.
Yeah.
One, I mean, just when it comes to like the dedication
Mm-hmm.
and the passion behind coaching, I didn't have it, and I feel like these kids, that's the least we should be able to do.
Yeah.
Is to be able to give them, our very best. And I don't think I would be able to do that.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think I'm very good at teaching somebody how to play.
Also, you brought up a good point as far as passion. I always tell my kids, do not mistake my passion for anger. Because yes, I do yell, only because I'm very passionate about what I'm saying. Because you've seen it, you've seen what it looks like, and I brought up the test, and now you failed.
Right.
So once I'm going to bring this test up to you, because again, God's only going to give you the same test because you keep failing.
Right.
So I'm giving you this test, and not to say I'm God or anything,
right?
But
let's be very clear.
very, very clear. I mean, that one there, no, he got.
Hello.
He's got it. But no, like when I put you in these situations, it's because like I'm preparing you. So like whenever you do make that mistake, don't put your head down because I'm getting on you. Because if I get on you, that means I care, and if I care, then that means we're still good and all that. So, coaches, please tell your players like if you are on them, that it's only a good thing. It's when you stop talking to them, and a lot of kids don't understand that. Coach, why aren't you putting me in? Well, have you proved yourself?
Right.
Like it's a kid's job to make them unplayable. And what I mean by that is work so hard to the point to where I'm like, man, I gotta put this kid down. I gotta put him somewhere. And that's hard as a coach, especially as a young coach, because you do want all of your guys to succeed in one way, shape, or form. It may be their first year playing football, or it may be like their 7th year playing football, but at the same time, they still have these same inconsistencies and all that, and I have to go with who's more consistent. So kind of being in that aspect, and even that is emotionally draining because that kind of pulls and tugs on the kid's heartstrings. So I have to be the coach that I've always wanted.
Yes.
So bringing all the coaches I've had, bringing all of the all the experiences, like I have to now weigh in on my own and tell them like this is just what I think, but at the same time like you can also do better at this and the third, and I'm also giving you that constructive criticism so that way you're not looking at yourself as a down low or a bottom feeder or anything like that, but I want you to see yourself as more as well. So doing that at the freshman level is kind of hard because they're emotional and these are kids that one are not social at all, especially with anything that doesn't have to do with the phone. Like if it's not FaceTime or anything like that, they can't read social cues, they can't read tone. So and that's kind of hard because as a coach who's kind of been out of, again, these are COVID kids, so that 6th grade to 8th grade period was very crucial in their social life. So they don't get it. So that's also kind of hard. Yeah. So I have to take that into consideration as well. And like I don't want to blame COVID, but at the same time, it had that much of an impact on some of these kids' mental health. And emotion. Yeah.
Is there because I mean, going to coaching, and I know you're gonna win championships and games and all that fun sparkly stuff, but like I know to you it's not just about the sport, it's also about becoming better, humans too. How do you get that through their heads of like, I mean, just like what this is talking about, just take what we're talking about today so that you can implement it into your everyday life as an adult. How do you get them to want to do it? What does that look like to them? Are they receiving it?
Well, sometimes like I'll always try and make an example, not to embarrass the kid or anything like that, but like,
yes, you
really, maybe just a little bit. But it's to get them that lighthearted feeling on like, yeah, we can joke about it now, but at the same time, like this can be very serious in life. So like getting them to understand that, yeah, this may be crucial in your consistency or being inconsistent on that, but that's going to transfer into the workplace as well. And then you're going to get fired. And then You can't let anyone get in the way of your money. So even in the teacher aspect, well, he said this, that, and the third about me. You're going to have a lot of coworkers that
bosses.
you do not like.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to have a lot of coworkers, bosses, higher ups that you don't agree with or really just don't like.
You still got to get the job done.
You can't let nobody get in front of your bread. So
that's a word.
So what would I say? Like I always said, like bring home your money. So what I mean by that is don't let anyone get in the way of what you have destined for. Always think about what your future is. So kind of think about those futuristic things is how can I control myself in the workplace or whenever I'm out. If I'm out clubbing or even just on the quarter or just being in spaces to where everyone's watching or where everyone's like not watching, like have some type of sense of integrity, because that's one of the main things that high school kids have trouble with is doing the right thing when no one else is watching. Whenever I'm in a plank position and I just turn my head on purpose just for me to snap back and see that you're laying on the ground. Like, come on, bro. Like, at this point, it's part of your character.
Right.
So you're showing me who you are. And so if this is not who you are, you need to show me who you really are. And show me that you can do these things. So that's why I always try to pull out of the kid and make them see about themselves and within themselves to gain that advantage for them. So.
Well, Harrison, this was so good. I did not know some of this stuff about you, and I am very impressed with the young man. So wait, first of all, Harrison used to be one of those kids where he would enter the room and I would instantly just have an attitude. So no rhyme or reason for it. That's just what it was.
It's just little brother energy that child is.
He was so
just walk in, just
so annoying.
All you see is his face.
He's back.
What do you want?
We called him the brother. We couldn't even call you by the name.
No, you didn't say the brother. It was just brother. Just brother.
So I learned a lot about you though tonight. So thank you for coming on the Playmakers Blueprint. Do you have any last remarks to coaches or colleagues or young kids and players that might aspire to play at a high level?
As far as players, if you are wanting to be a part of the athletic community, or do not be upset if you do not see progress right then and there. Usain Bolt said it best, I trained 4 years to run 9 seconds, so don't get mad when you don't see results after 2 months. As far as coaches, pick your player's brain, see where their head's at, and I'm going to say be able to be kind of a father figure, especially if you're a young black man, because you are probably a role model to these kids. So always make sure that you're a positive one. They call me Deion Sanders because I'm always throwing quotes for some odd reason. So I just try to be inspirational.
Surprise!
So try to get the prime effect. So
big prime.
As far as parents, keep your kid humble, stay on them, and make sure that their schoolwork always comes first, and be on them, please. Our kids are, and it's just not my kids either. I see even in the gen ed buildings, we are struggling to read, and it's only because technology has made everything so easily accessible. Why do I gotta look it? Why do I gotta read this if I can just look it up? Like you have to have the critical thinking skills as well that even strengthens your brain and makes you more healthy, and just working out that brain so that way you can be more in control of your emotions or whatever it may be. So making sure that the kids know that school is important.
There's a lot of points there. I like it.
It's only for a couple of people. I got players, coaches, and parents.
I know.
Those are the only ones I got.
No, that's good.
And discipline.
Yeah.
And again, if you are the parent that whips whoops their kids, and then by all means. But at the same time, know when to not use force and be able to actually have a sit down and talk with them and try to really like pick their brains on why they do certain things, because like sometimes it really can either be from neglect at home, or they're getting bullied at school, so they're just acting out, or they just might be that stubborn. So getting that help, and um, whether it's from you or from outside help, please get that help.
Well, could have said it better than myself, Harry. Yes, very, very excited for you and what you have going on. Thank you again for coming on the Playmakers Blueprint. As we can agree that emotional control is an essential skill to have, not only on the field, the court, the track, but also in your everyday workplace. So again, thank you for shedding that light.
Thank you for having me.
You know? So that concludes our episode with my little and favoriteest brother in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Playmakers Blueprint. Don't forget to like or comment and subscribe. I would love to hear any ideas, thoughts, and opinions. So please check out for next week on another episode of the Playmakers Blueprint. Thank you for tuning in to the Playmakers Blueprint. You can catch me every Monday at 6 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Catch you next week.